Hello students, welcome back. Well, how was the first video? We went through linear equations which were relatively simple at first, but very quickly we got in depth. These kind of problems are really appropriate problems for about intermediate algebra problems. For college algebra, as a matter of fact, we have to go a little bit further. Much further to tell the truth. But this is the first step anyway. The key topic, how to break up parentheses, especially when we had negatives. Please remember, the negative sign is part of the coefficient, and you better distribute this entire -2 around, or entire -4 around. Now let's talk about problems with denominators. You see, denominator, parentheses, like terms, that was the order. So let's begin with a problem that begins with the denominator. Ready? Okay, all right. All right. The first step is to remove the denominator. So how do you remove the denominator? One way to remove the denominator is to multiply same thing to each term. Basically, same thing to left-hand side and right-hand side, and then distribute. So multiply the same thing to each term. And what is that number, the strategic number that I'm going to multiply here? One way is to multiply all the denominators. It's a bit of overkilling, but it works. Another way is to get a little bit more clever. Instead of multiplying 5 times 6 times 2, just multiply by 30, which is actually LCD, least common denominator, or LCM, least common multiple of the denominator. So that's what I'm going to do. Multiply by 30. As a matter of fact, let me increase the font because we are dealing with denominator. So I'm multiplying by 30 to each fraction. Okay, what did I do? I just multiplied by the same number, strategic number, 30, to each term. And do I just go ahead and multiply? Don't do this. Please go back to this basic strategy and remind yourself why in the world you did this 30. You wanted to take care of the denominator, wasn't it? That was the purpose. Don't forget the purpose. The first step is to remove the denominator. So multiplying out here is a poor idea. Remove the denominator first. 30 divided by 5, what is it? 30 over 5, that's 6. So there goes the first term. Next, 30 divided by 6. That's how you remove the denominator. 5 4y plus 1. There goes the second term. Now, to the right-hand side, 30 times 1 is, of course, 30. The only easy computation. Next, 30 divided by 2. What is it? 15. 2 plus y. And what did he end up with? We ended up with a problem very similar to these type of problems where you have to break up parentheses. You see? We started with denominators, and by multiplying by the LCM of the denominators, we ended up with an equation with no denominator. It's a step up. And then we have to move to the next step. We have to remove the parentheses. Do not multiply out these numerators here, okay? If you do that and then try to simplify the denominator away, even if you do it right, it's a hard computation, and possibly you're going to expose yourself to possible mistakes. But even more importantly, it shows that you lost track. The basic direction or basic strategy is this: denominator, parentheses, like terms. I'm going to repeat this probably 100 times throughout the semester. Okay, that may be an exaggeration, but every now and then, let me remind you of this. Denominator, parentheses, like terms. If you remember this basic strategy, and then just some reasonable amount of work, you can pass this course. And I'm not kidding. But if you screw up here and then get puzzled, then it's going to be very difficult to pass this course. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next step, parentheses. Oh, by the way, let's align the equalities. So let's remove the parentheses. Distributing 6 away, 18 plus 12y. Does it look good after distributing 6? Good. Next, distribute negative 5 to the next one. Negative 5 times 4y, what is it? Negative 20y. And then what's next? Negative 5 times 1, what is it? Minus 5. Okay, it's not plus 1 or plus 5, it's minus 5. Let's go to the right, 30, and then let's distribute this negative 15. Negative 15 times 2, negative 30. And then negative 15 times y. Actually, I missed an opportunity here. It was a good timing for me to make an intentional mistake so that you can catch me. And in class, I often do that, but it's very difficult to do that online. I guess something's gotta give. All right, let's go to the next step. Like terms. Do you see like terms? Yes, I do. 12y minus 20y, negative 8y. And then the number part. 18 minus 5. Is it 13? Okay, let's go to the right. 30 minus 30, oh, that's easy. That's just 0. And looks like I'm getting this computation here. All right, going well. Flipping this negative 15 to the other side. Negative 8y was day before, and then 15y after flipping. And flipping this 13, we have negative 13 to the other side. And then further consolidation, negative 8y plus 15y. You see, these are like terms. So what do you get? 15 minus 8, 7y? Is that what we got so far? Let's go to the final step. Divide by 7 minus 13 over 7. And I claim this is the answer. Previous expression was okay, but I prefer to have the sign in front of the fraction. Okay, let's check if I did it correctly. Yes, I did it right. Now we have the answer key over there, so there's no reason to have it down here as well. So here we go. The same thing we did. Number 1, LCM or LCD, whatever you may want to call. And then remove the denominator. Remember, why did I multiply by 30? The purpose was to remove the denominator. Next, parentheses. When you break off negative coefficient, please be extra careful, like circling or highlighting entire number like what I did right now with my mouse, or highlighter, or just circling with a pencil. Do whatever you need to do to remind yourself that negative is part of the coefficient. And then you distribute around. Negative 15 times 2, negative 15 times y, we get that. Now we have only like terms. Okay, take those like terms together, y parts together, number parts together, and then further like terms, move this 15y to the other side to get these y parts and the number parts. Final division by, oh, excuse me, a typo. Okay, final division by that. Alright, is everybody happy?